Okay, again, pag sinabi natin crisis, of course, tandaan nyo lang, it is unstable condition. Okay, again, pag sinabi natin crisis, it is an unstable condition. Of course, pag sinabi natin unstable, it is dangerous to our social condition. So, halimbawa, there is a abrupt change or there is an unstable condition when it comes to our economic or ibig sabihin nanganganib yung economy natin na pwedeng babagsak. Course, kapag bubagsak ang economy natin, ibig sabihin, magkakaroon ng crisis. Sunod-sunod na yan. Magkakaroon tayo ng crisis when it comes sa ating pagkain, di ba? Kasi tataas yung mga bilihin. Then, yung demand sa pagkain, tataas rin. So, ibig sabihin, ang crisis, maraming magiging epekto niyan. Una niyan sa our economy. Then, followed by our military. Then, pwede rin sa political, sa police, then sa societal or other personal affairs, tayo mismo, kapag there is a crisis between us or sa atin mismo, ibig sabihin, yung crisis na yan, yung unstable condition or the dangerous condition class, it will affect or it will approach to yung tinatawag natin na emergency level event. Sabihin, it will result to an emergency. So kapag there is an emergency, there is a need class to find solution or para ma-adapt yan or para mabigyan agad ng solution guys. Kasi emergency is hindi tayo pwedeng makaano, same as true with the accident, 'di ba? Ang accident we cannot foresee kung darating ba siya or hindi. So same as with the emergency. Kapag emergency na yan, kailangan ng solution, 'di ba? Alam mo, kung naano ka, may nangyari sa iyo, kailangan mo kang dalhin sa hospital, di ba? So, same as true with crisis. Yung unstable condition na yon, it will lead to emergency. Okay? So, kasi ang crisis, it came from the Greek word crisis, which means to separate. Tinatawag natin na crisis. Okay? Wait na class. Bakit naka-on yung microphone?
Naka-sidecar?
Yung mute ko naman. Okay. So, ayan. So, let's proceed now on the next. So, yun lang ng crisis na. Okay. So, pakibasa, sino ba? Nandito ba si Kel? Nandito siya. Okay, sige. Sino yun? Okay, si Joel de la Vela. Joel.
Sir.
What is emergency? Okay, pakibasa, what is emergency?
Emergency come from the Latin word emergentia, which means dipping, plugging. It is a sudden condition or state of affairs calling for immediate action.
Okay. So ayan, I already discussed kanina, di ba, what is emergency in connection with crisis. Pag sinabi ng emergency, of course, it came from the Latin word emergentia, which means dipping or plugging. So it is a sudden condition or state of affairs calling for immediate action. So ayan, sinabi ko kanina, kapag that is a what we call a emergency, ibig sabihin there is a need of immediate action on particular emergency. So again, pag sinabi natin emergency class, ibig sabihin that is a sudden condition that is in need of immediate action. Kanina ba ang crisis, it is an unstable condition. So ang unstable connection na yun, unstable condition na yun, it will result class to sa tinatawag natin na emergency. So ang emergency, it is a unstable or it is a sudden condition na kinakailangan natin ng immediate action. Okay? So halimbawa, may na hostage, di ba? So that is, there is an emergency. So meaning, kailangan nating i-save muna ang buhay ng ating biktima. Kasi yan yung pinaka-purpose natin, di ba? Yung crisis management. Kailangan natin i-save yung kanilang buhay kasi yan naman ang purpose natin, di ba? Tinatawag natin na salvari vidas. Salvari vidas, that is the purpose of crisis management, or basically that is for the purpose of saving lives. Yan yung tinatawag natin na salvari vidas. Okay? Okay, how about crisis management? Sino naman ang bababasa? Nandiyan pa ba kayo? Sir William? Sige, Sir Robin muna, Robin. Okay, basa ng Crisis
Crisis
management.
management, it refers to the action undertaken to unify and coordinate resources and efforts to effectively and efficiently fuel a given criminal life-threatening situation. Also defined as the expert handling of emergency of or crisis to reduce or eliminate danger or damage.
Okay. So again, pag sinabi natin crisis management, of course, that is the action taken. Okay, that is an action undertaken to unify and coordinate resources and efforts to effectively and efficiently deal with even criminal life-threatening situation. So, of course, kapag there is a crisis, meron tayong tinatawag na crisis management. Ibig sabihin yan, how to deal with crisis. O yan yung tinatawag natin na crisis management. Of course, that is also the expert handling of emergency crisis to reduce or to eliminate danger or damage. Ibig sabihin, para hindi masyadong lalaki or hindi masyadong lalala yung sitwasyon or yung emergency or crisis. Then, ang worst dyan, okay, ang pinaka-worst na iniwasan dyan is that will lead to death or may mga mamatay. So, that is a crisis management class. Okay, so again, ang crisis, that is a state of affairs or it is a sudden condition that is in need of immediate action. Okay, that is crisis management. Okay, next. Dito tayo tinatawag class na yung difference between the emergency, crisis, and disaster. Okay, so pakibasa nga muna. Gusto ko marinig yung mga boses nila ng iba. Si William, Sir William, are you available?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sir William, pakibasa, what is the distinction between emergency, disaster, and disaster?
Emergency, crisis, and disaster distinguish if the situation is still controlled and the response given is for the purpose of containing the situation from getting out of control, then it is just an emergency.
Okay. So, ganito, pag sinabi nating emergency and disaster, ano nga ba yung pagkakaiba nila? Pag sinabi nating emergency and disaster, of course, they are two linking situation. Kapag yung situation class is still controlled and the response is given, and of course, ang pinaka-purpose niyan is to contain the situation from getting out of control, then it is just an emergency. Again, pag sinabi nating emergency, matatawag natin na emergency yan kapag yung sitwasyon is still controlled. Ibig sabihin, nabibigay natin yung response na kailangan, di ba? Halimbawa, na first aid natin or halimbawa, nasunog yung isang building, agad-agad, meron tayong fire extinguisher, ginamitan natin ng fire extinguisher. Ibig sabihin, the situation is still under control. Ibig sabihin, ang tawag natin dyan is emergency. Okay? Then, pag sinabi naman natin, okay, bakit ayaw niya? Okay. So again, pag sinabi nating emergency, ibig sabihin nun, when the situation is under control and the response is given, that is emergency. Kapag disaster naman, of course, that will lead to disaster. Parang hindi na natin siya makontrol class. Okay? So yan yung tinatawag natin na disaster. Kapag emergency, ibig sabihin, nabibigay pa natin yung response na kinakailangan. Ano ba, yung first aid, yung first immediate action para ma-contain natin or makontrol natin yung sitwasyon. That is only an emergency. Kapag disaster na yan, wala na. Okay, parang hindi na natin makontrol. Okay, dito i-explain natin further. So we have the types of emergency. Of course, we have the earthquakes. Okay, so that is a natural, di ba? So we have sa earthquake, hindi lang tayo, bakit mas maraming class? Bakit mas maraming lindol na nangyayari hindi naman pumuputok yung mga bulkan, yung mga active volcano. Bakit may lumilindol pa rin? Kasi di ba we have two types of earthquakes. Bakit class? Bakit lumilindol pa rin? Ano yung reason doon? Bakit walang Bakit mas maraming lindol ang nangyayari? Eh, wala namang pumuputok na bulkan. Nagka-clash yung plates sa ilalim, sir. Okay, movement of tectonic plates. Okay, very good, di ba? So dapat class, ganun ang alam niyo kasi criminologist kayo eh. Or magiging criminologist kayo in the future. Dapat alam niyo kasi itatanong rin to class sa ano natin, environmental laws, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, bakit kaya, kasi di ba nung pinag-aralan natin sa science, tipo science, bakit maraming lindol ang nangyayari? Eh, wala namang pumuputok na vulkan. Kasi diba, we have the two types of cause ng earthquakes, diba? Tectonic earthquakes and of course, we have the volcanic earthquakes. Ang tectonic earthquakes, guys, of course, sa volcano, then kapag mag-crash yung dalawang plates, that is what we call tectonic plates. And take note, class, hindi lang po yung sa lupa ang meron tayong mga volcanoes na active. Mas marami pa ang bilang ng mga volcano na pumuputok sa ilalim ng dagat. That's why kahit hindi natin malalaman na may pumutok sa ilalim ng dagat, kaya yun lumilindol rin. Okay? Nakuha niyo, hindi lang sa lupa. Kaya di ba meron tayong tectonic and what we call the volcanic. Ang volcanic eruption, of course, caused by volcano. Then, of course, yung tectonic naman with the two plates, parang nagkano sila, yung movement, parang nagka-clash. So that is the what we call the tectonic eruption. So, nandito na pala si Sir Victor. Kamusta, Sir Victor? Then, of course, yung floods natin. Pag sinabi natin floods, what is floods, class? Ano yung tawag natin sa flood na hindi na natin makontrol? Masyado na siyang malaki. Okay, anong tawag natin doon? Okay, so again, class, anong tawag natin doon? Tsunami? Bakit naging tsunami ang flood? Yung masyado na siyang malaki. Okay, anong tawag natin doon? Flash floods? Baha, sir? Bakit naging baha? Hindi, I mean, ano na yung magiging term natin kapag masyado nang malaki yung tinatawag natin na flood? Super flood. Bakit naging super flood? Okay, ganito class ha. Okay, ganitong patandaan ninyo. Pag sinabi nating, okay, ganito na lang para mas ma-compare ninyo. Pag sinabi nating yung fire, okay, dito na lang. Balikan natin yung flood mamaya. Ano naman ang tawag natin kapag halimbawa yung yung forest yung sa ano natin, yung forest natin na sa Australia ba yun? Yung forest na nasunog siya ngayon tapos hindi na siya makontrol. Anong tawag natin doon, class? Yung forest or yung fire na out of control na siya. Hindi na siya talaga makontrol or hindi na siya maapula. Anong tawag natin doon ng fire, class? Yung masyadong malaki. Okay? Masyadong malaki na fire. So what is that? Uh, deforestation. Ang deforestation is yung kakalbuhin mo, 'di ba? Wildfire? Hindi. Okay, ang tawag natin doon ano ba hirit? Forest fire. Grabe naman si Sir iPhone naka-forest fire. Anong tawag natin doon? Kapag masyado na siyang malaki. Then kumbaga hindi na siya maapula, yung masyadong malaki na fire. Uncontrolled fire. Saan yung mga kinukuha yan, yung sagot ninyo? Okay. Hindi kayo familiar diyan? Okay, meron akong sinulat diyan na coffee. Okay, yan yung acronym natin Asan yung aking courseware? Ang coffee, that is the acronym sa tinatawag natin na tinatanong ko kanina. So, pag sinabi natin coffee, ang tawag natin sa fire na masyado nang hindi na masyadong maapula or masyado na siyang malaki out of control na, hindi na natin basta-basta maapula yan. Ang tawag natin doon is the conflagration. Okay, ang tawag natin doon is conflagration. So, gamitan nyo lang na acronym na COFFI, C-O-F-I. So, meaning, conflagration, it talks about the fire. So, ang conflagration class, halimbawa, yung forest na sunog, then hindi na basta-basta maapula. Ang tawag na natin doon is conflagration. Nakuha ba? Again, conflagration, ang tawag natin doon kapag it talks about the large or yung bigger fire. Kumbaga, ang property or mas malayo or mas malaki or mas malawak na property ang kanyang maapektuhan or hindi na siya basta-basta maapula, that is what we call the conflagration. Again, pag sinabi natin conflagration, it talks about the massive or larger fire or large fire that will hinder or of course marami ang maapektuhan. Okay, nakuha ba ninyo? Nakuha ba, class? Or
Yes, sir.
first time nyo ba narinig ang conflagration? Okay. Na, first time nyo ba narinig or narinig nyo na dati? Okay. So how about naman, class, yung flood natin na hindi siya makontrol? Ang flood na hindi natin makontrol, class, or masyadong malaki, ang tawag natin doon is inundation. Okay? I-N. I-type ko na lang. Okay? Ang tawag natin doon is inundation. Okay? So again, ang fire na masyadong malaki, then hindi basta-basta makontrol. That is what we call the conflagration. Then kapag ang flood naman, masyadong malaki, of course, that is what we call the inundation. Diba? So, hindi tsunami, hindi tsunano, and so on. Okay. So, again, pag sinabi natin conflagration, it talks about yung masyadong malaki ng apoy or kapag halimbawa nasunog yung large parcel or yung large part ng forest natin or nasunog yung whole forest natin, that is what we call conflagration na. Kasi masyadong malaki or masyadong na malawak ang napinsala niya, then hindi na siya basta-basta agad mag-control or mas-suppress. Yung tinatawag natin na fire, ang tawag natin doon is conflagration. Okay? So, nakuha ba? Nakuha, class? Nandyan pa ba kayo? Okay, next. Of course, we have the home fires, heat waves. Di ba ngayon, grabe ang init, no? Sa inyo mainit ba?
Sobra, sir.
Sobra, no? Dito rin eh. Kaya, instead na magklase ako sa loob ng bahay, dito ako nasa labas ako ngayon. Medyo mahangin, pero ang hangin is init pa rin, di ba? Okay, kaya no choice tayo kasi dry season na daw eh. Okay, so heat waves, hurricanes, then landslides, power outages, and thunderstorms. Maulan, sir. Saan ka nga, Sir Angelo? Nasa Baguio ka ba? Sir Angelo? Nandyan ka? Sa Baguio, no? Ay, sa Caraga. Maulan dyan. Dapat sa amin na, no? Dapat uulan rin dito. Pero grabe yung init dito sa amin. Parang masyadong intense sa Mindanao. Ay, actually sa Luzon rin, di ba? Grabe yung Nakagaling ko lang kasi sa I-Link College sa Midsayap. So, kagabi lang ako umuwi. Then, so, ayan. Mainit rin doon, pero hindi rin, pero ang pinakamainit sa Jensen. Okay, so of course, ang cause ng landslide palagi, di ba? Then, ang landslide kasi nga, wala nang kumakapit, class, na mga puno, di ba? Then tumira ako sa Baguio for umulan din dito sa amin, pero umulan ng init sa Tugigaraw. Ay, taga-Tugigaraw ka, Sir Leo? Kagaling ko lang ng Tugigaraw last week pa yun. Oo. Tugigaraw. Student ba kita or hindi? Dati?
Hindi pa po.
Ay, hindi? Okay. Sa St. Clair kasi ako nagtuturo ng nila. Ako yung nag-lecture din. Sa final coaching na naman ako babalik doon. So, ayan. Tugigaraw. Parang para-para sila ng Jensen ng init, di ba? So, Tugigaraw. Unlike sa, class, yung mga cause ng landslide, class, mostly, naranasan ko yan sa Baguio. Of course, meron tayong mga dito na taga Baguio. And then, kaya merong times doon na 1 month talaga or 2 months talaga ang tuloy-tuloy na ulan. Kaya medyo yung soft na yung lupa, diba? Yan yung cause rin ng landslide. Lalong-lalo na kapag walang mga ugat ng puno na kumakapit or kinakapitan yung mga ano natin. Kaya yung cause ng landslide, di ba? Kasi tumira ako sa Baguio for 2 years class doon. So na-observe ko yung weather. Then merong 1 week or 2 weeks na walang kuryente. So no choice ka, matulog ka na lang, parang ganon. So yun class, yun yung mga cause ng landslide. Power outages, thunderstorms, okay, and so on. Yan yung mga types of emergencies natin. Okay, so yan. Kapag emergency class, of course, nabibigay pa natin or the situation is under control and the response is given pa. Okay, that is emergency. Okay, so tandaan ninyo kas, if the situation is already beyond normal control on what is happening, ang tawag natin dyan is the crisis. Okay? So again, ang tawag natin dyan is crisis. Kapag, di ba, pag sinabi natin emergency, ano ba yung kaibahan nila ng dalawa na yan? So again, pag sinabi natin emergency, it is a sudden situation. But of course, it is a sudden situation. Nabibigay pa natin yung response on that given condition. Yun yung tinatawag natin emergency. While ang crisis, kapag yung sitwasyon is already beyond normal control of what is happening, ang tawag na natin dyan is crisis. Again, pag sabi natin crisis, when the situation is already beyond our normal control on what is happening around you, ang tawag natin dyan is crisis. Then, of course, ang crisis, dalawa yan. Meron tayong natural crisis and of course, the man-made crisis. Ang natural crisis class, those are the acts of God. Halimbawa, yung mga floods, mga tsunamis, mga volcanic eruptions, yung tagtuyot, yung mga storms, those are the natural crisis. While the man-made crisis naman, of course, yung mga gawayan ng mga tao, civil disturbances, terrorism, kidnapping, hijacking, and so on, those are the man-made crisis. Okay, nakuha ba? So again, ang crisis when the situation is already beyond the normal control of what is happening, tawag natin dyan class is crisis. Again, we have the types of crisis. Kapag natural crisis, of course, it is the acts of God. Okay, it is an environmental phenomena such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tornadoes, and hurricanes, floods, landslides, tsunamis, storms, and droughts. Ngayon, di ba, nandito na tayo class, okay, sa tagtuyot or sa actually, di ba, kung titingnan ninyo, kapag sa panahon ngayon masyadong mainit, then panahon na rin yan ng tagutom. Ano nyo ba yan? Nalaman nyo, alam nyo ba yan? Sa ngayon, di ba, panahon ng tagutom rin kasi masyadong mainit yung yung panahon. Then hindi pa kapag di ba? Mostly hindi makapagtanim yung mga ano natin, yung mga farmers natin. Kasi nga, droughts that threaten life, property, and the environment itself. Okay, nakuha ba? Yan yung natural crisis. Pag sinabi naman nating man-made crisis, of course, there is a civil disturbance, revolt, revolution, border incident, war, katulad ng South Korea and North Korea, 'di ba? Nasa border lang naman sila, border, no? Pero hindi ka pwede basta makapasok sa border na 'yon. Kasi nga of course shoot to kill, 'di ba? War, kidnapping, hijacking, hostage taking, terrorist activities, then attacks on the government facilities, etc. Those are the man-made. Natural naman, of course, act of God, and man-made naman, ginawa yan mismo ng mga tao. Kasi that is the man-made crisis. May question dyan? May question? Wala na? Baka nakatulog na kayo, ah. Okay. So, wala naman. Okay. So again, pag sinabi nating disaster, okay, tandaan nyo, pag sinabi nating disaster, masyadong mainit, no? Okay, pag sinabi nating disaster, yan yung effects of the crisis. Kapag disaster, yung crisis na yan can no longer be controlled even by its author. Ang tawag natin dyan is disaster. Again, kailan natin tatawagin ang sitwasyon na disaster? Tandaan nyo class, tatawagin natin yan na disaster kahit yung may gawa is hindi niya na makontrol. Disaster na yan. Okay? So of course, meron tayong natural disasters and of course, meron tayong tinatawag na man-made disasters. Ang natural disasters, of course, sinabi ko rin kanina, yung mga earthquakes, yung landslide, mga tsunamis, of course, yan yung tinatawag natin na natural disasters. While ang man-made, of course, yung mga accidents na nangyayari, so environmental degradation, halimbawa, yung planta na mga puptok, di ba? So, hindi napumutok yung iba, then apektuhan lahat. So, it will lead to disaster. Ibig sabihin, kung sino yung may gawa, or sino nagmula or saan nagmula yung tinatawag natin na action, hindi niya na agad-agad makontrol. Okay? Hindi niya na makontrol yung nagawa niya or yung initial na ginawa niya. So, ang tawag na natin dyan is disaster. Again, pag sinabi natin disaster, when the situation is no longer be controlled by its owner or by its author, that is considered as disaster. Tama ba? So, ayan, naulit lang, no? So, kapag sa geophysical, earthquakes, tsunami, hydrological naman, avalanches and floods, climatological, extreme temperature, masyadong mainit, masyadong malamig, drought, and wildfires. Sa meteorological naman, of course, yung mga cyclones, storm, wave surges, biological disease epidemics, and insect animal bites and floods. Mamaya explain natin, class, anong kaibahan ni epidemic, pandemic, and endemic? Then, of course, the man-made disasters, we have the environmental degradation, pollution, kapag accidents naman na nangyayari sa planta, halimbawa industrial, technological, and transport, usually involving the production, use, or transfer of hazardous materials. That is the man-made disaster. Okay? Then, of course, meron tayong tinatawag na complex emergencies. Pakibasa nga, sino yung available, class? Si Sir Robin. Pakibasa, Sir Robin. Okay, mabuti nandun sila, Sir Robin. May kapalitan ako magbasa. Sige, Sir Robin, go ahead.
Complex emergencies. Some disasters can result from multiple hazards or, more often, to a complex combination of both natural and man-made causes, which involve a breakdown of authority, looting, and attacks on strategic installations, including conflict situations and war. There are food insecurity, epidemics, armed conflicts, and displaced populations.
Okay. So, pag sinabi natin complex emergency, class, ibig sabihin, it is the combination of two, the natural and man-made causes. So, halimbawa, class, kapag there is a complex emergency, it is a cause of natural and man-made, di ba? Halimbawa, kapag there is a terrorism, class, or halimbawa, maraming nagbobomba or binobomba nila yung isang lugar, halimbawa, binobomba yung whole Mindanao, di ba? So, yung man-made na yon, so it will cause yung tinatawag natin na drought or tagutom, di ba? Sa lahat. So, it is a combination of man-made and natural. So, susunod na yon, including the conflict situation and war. Magre-resulta yon, class, sa food insecurity. Pag sinabi ng food insecurity, hindi sapat yung yung nakatago or nakaimbak na pagkain na kumaga, halimbawa, class, matatawag kasi natin na there is a food insecurity sa isang bansa, di ba, sa Pilipinas. Kapag within a year, hindi sapat yung hina-harvest natin, di ba? Katulad na lamang sa palay, okay? Yung palay or bigas, di ba? So there is a food insecurity kapag kulang-kulang or hindi agad-agad available yung mga bigas sa merkado or kailangan pa natin mag-angkat ng mas marami para ma-feed yung lahat ng tao sa bansa, di ba? So that is a food insecurity, class. Ibig sabihin, unstable ang condition natin when it comes to our food security. So kaya nga tinawag natin na food insecurity. Then, of course, epidemics. Mamaya explain natin what is epidemics, armed conflicts, di ba? Because yung sa gyera natin. Then, of course, yung mga displaced population. Ang tawag natin doon is the complex emergency. Okay? Okay, next slide. Okay, so dito, klase, explain natin. Okay, pakibasa nga. Sino ba ang available? Si Trisha. Tobida, Trisha. Nandiyan ka, Trisha? Or si...
Hi, sir.
Ay, may nasa trabaho ka pa. Sige, okay lang.
Ay, wala sir. Okay lang po.
Ay, okay lang. Sige, sige. Pakibasa nga, what is pandemic? Thank you.
Pandemic. Pandemic is an epidemic of infectious disease that has spread across a large region, which can occur to the human population or animal population and may affect health and disrupt services, leading to economic and social cost. It may be an unusual or unexpected increase in the number of cases of an infectious disease, which already exists in a certain region or population, or can also refer to the appearance of a significant number of cases of an infectious disease in a region or population that is usually free from that disease.
Okay. So, thank you. So, pag sinabi nating pandemic, of course, tinatawag natin yan na pandemic emergency. So, again, pag sinabi nating pandemic, yung word na pandemic, nanggaling yan sa Greek word na pan. Again, yung pan na yon, ibig sabihin yon all. So, ibig sabihin lahat tayo na apektuhan. Then, yung demic, nanggaling yun yan sa Greek word na demos, meaning people. So, lahat ng tao ay naapektuhan. So, ano nga ba ang pandemic? So, ang pandemic, it is a epidemic infectious disease. So, again, pag sinabi nating pandemic, it is an epidemic of infectious disease. Kasi again, nanggaling yan sa Greek word na pan, meaning all or lahat. Then, yung demic na word or demos, ibig sabihin yan, people. So, lahat ng tao ay naapektuhan. So, ang pandemic, so during pandemic nga, nakarelate tayo na it is a widespread or it is a spread of disease across a large region. Okay? So, katulad ng COVID-19 pandemic. So, ang pandemic na yun, yung COVID-19, it occurs on the entire population worldwide. And of course, it affects our health and disrupt the services. Di ba? Nag-lockdown, nagkakaroon ng community quarantine that will lead to economic and social loss or social cost. Yan yung tinatawag natin na pandemic. Ibig sabihin, ang magkakaroon ng pandemic kapag there is an increase or there is a massive increase on the number of cases of the infectious disease or mas marami ang naapektuhan at mabilis yung pagkalat niya sa isang region or large region. Kasi again, ulitin natin, ang pandemic, nanggaling yan sa Greek word na pan or all, then demos or people, or it is a epidemic of infectious disease surrounded or affecting the large number of population worldwide. That is pandemic class. Okay? So kaya nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic. Okay, next. Naintindihan niyo na ba ang pandemic class? Naintindihan niyo naman, no, ang pandemic, wala namang problema. Wala na. Kasi 'di ba, kasi nga panawag na pandemic, ibig sabihin lahat tayo naapektuhan, okay? Or walang exempted actually, 'di ba? Ako nagka-COVID. Kayo nagka-COVID ba during the time? Kasi na-remember ko dati nasa seminar ako sa sa Venus View Hotel sa Baguio City. Nasa seminar ko nung nag-serve ng pagkain, yung ano ba yun, carbonara ba yung merienda namin doon, yung snacks namin. Tapos nung bakit sinabihan ko si Dr. Peckley, sabi ko bakit wala akong panlasa. Na-remember ko, patay, baka meron akong COVID. So yun talaga, totoo para na patay COVID. Twice ako nagka-COVID nung sa Baguio, then nung umuwi ako dito sa Mindanao, nung class, nung paglabas ng result, ng board exam result. Kaya nung lumabas yung board exam result, wala akong reaction kasi mataas ang landat ko. Kasi COVID grabe yung COVID ko eh. Grabe yung isolation doon. Kaya grabe parang di ba hinihingal ka. So ganun class ang nangyari sa amin that time. Okay. Endemic, short term, pandemic, long term, tama ba sir? Hindi. Mamaya i-explain ko what is endemic para mas maintindihan niyo. Okay, so ang pandemic emergency may occur as a consequence of natural or man-made disaster. These have included Ebola virus, of course, Zika, avian flu, cholera, dengue fever, malaria, yellow fever, coronavirus disease or COVID-19 pandemic. So, di ba, yan yung tinatawag natin na pandemic. Okay? So, ang flu before class, maraming namatay sa flu. Kasi nga, wala pa namang bio-flu. Okay? Mas marami pa actually namatay sa situation or sa cases ng flu before. Kasi hindi pa ma-contain, wala pang bio-flu. Ngayon, kapag may flu ka, di ba, pwede ka nang bumili ng bio-flu. O, di ba, kahit sa ano. So, yan yung tinatawag natin na flu class. Okay? Then, of course, yung pandemic, ay yung COVID-19 ba, matatawag pa natin na pandemic sa ngayon? Matatawag po ba natin na pandemic yan, ang COVID-19? Meron?
Hindi na, sir.
Hindi na? Okay, so mamaya i-explain natin. Okay, kung matatawag po ba natin na pandemic ang COVID. Epidemic na lang, sir. Okay, sige, very good. Dito tayo. Okay, so dito natin i-explain class ano yung kaibahan ni pandemic versus epidemic versus endemic. So, ayan, ulitin natin. Ano yung kaibahan ni pandemic, epidemic versus endemic. So, pag sinabi nating pandemic, it involves the wide-ranging spread of the disease throughout the area or the particular community. So, halimbawa, ang halimbawa ng epidemic class, yung yellow fever, yung smallpox, measles, and polio. So, ibig sabihin, there is a wide spread of disease. But of course, there is a specific area lang or community. Halimbawa, sa Mindanao, isang province doon or sa South Cotabato lang, ang inaatake ng measles or polio. Ang tawag natin doon is epidemic. Nakuha? Again, pag sinabi nating epidemic, that is the wide range or spread of a disease throughout the entire particular area. Okay, halimbawa ng epidemic, yellow fever, measles, polio, and so on. So, yan yung tinatawag natin na epidemic. Isang lugar lang ang inaatake. Okay, yung spread ng tinatawag natin na mabilis na pagkalat ng disease in a particular area. Nakuha? Then, of course, pag sinabi nating pandemic, it involves the wider spread of the disease. Lalong-lalo na it will reach actually across the world. So, yan yung tinatawag natin na pandemic. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic is the best example for that. Or yung mga cholera outbreaks, that is pandemic. Ibig sabihin, lahat na apektuhan, hindi lang iisang lugar. So, mas mabilis or there is a high percentage or the higher increase of the spread of infectious disease. That is a pandemic. So again, pandemic, that is the wider spread of the infectious disease reaching across the entire world. Okay, hindi lang isang bansa ang naapektuhan, katulad ng COVID-19 pandemic. So lahat ng bansa, majority, lahat actually na apektuhan ng COVID-19. Then, of course, pag sinabi nating endemic naman class, okay, ano nga ba yung tinatawag natin na endemic? Okay, so ganito yan. Pag sinabi natin endemic, ibig sabihin yan, dinidescribe natin when a particular disease regularly spreads within a particular area or region na kahit kailan, it will never fully goes away. Ibig sabihin, nandyan pa rin siya, okay, patapos na siya, pero hindi pa rin yan siya mauubos or hindi yan siya aalis. Halimbawa, yung flu is considered as endemic in any other places or in any places across the world. So ang flu before class, maraming namatay kasi there is wala pang control. Ngayon, 'di ba, kapag may flu ka, pwede ka mong pumalit ng bio-flu para mawala yung flu mo. So ang tinatawag natin doon is endemic. So ang flu, makokontrol natin, pero it will never fully goes away. Ibig sabihin, hindi yan siya aalis. Okay? So, ang COVID-19 natin class, COVID-19 na disease na meron tayo, is not yet considered endemic. But of course, eventually, as the time goes by, it will become endemic rin. Okay? Kasi nga, baka available na sa market soon. Kapag may COVID ka, okay, may COVID ka, bili ka lang ng COVID tablet. Yun lang inumin mo. So, mawawala na. Pero, again, pag sinabi natin endemic, yan yung disease, dinidescribe natin yan yung disease na kung saan kumalat siya in a particular area, but it will never fully goes away. Pero makukontrol natin. That is endemic. Nakuha ba? Nakuha ninyo?
Yes, sir.
Okay? So ano niyo na ngayon na nalaman niyo na or ano yun, na-distinguish niyo na ano yung kaibahan talaga ng tatlo na yan. Okay, again, pag sinabi nating pandemic, so that is the widespread of an infectious disease actually reaching all areas or all countries across the world. So lahat na apektuhan, yan yung tinatawag natin na pandemic. It affects all. Yung massive increase of spread of infectious disease, that is pandemic. Pag sinabi naman nating epidemic, that is the spread of a disease, pero in a particular area or region lang, yan yung tinatawag natin na epidemic. So, ibig sabihin, meron na siyang area kung na-focus, doon yung pinakamalala, that is epidemic. Pag sinabi naman natin endemic, yan yung tinatawag natin na a disease is, there is a spread pa rin ng disease in a particular area or region. But yung disease na yan, nakokontrol na, but it will never fully goes away. Ibig sabihin, meron ng control. Halimbawa ng flu. Meron tayong bio-flu. Kapag meron tayong flu, nakokontrol natin, but nandyan pa rin yan. It will never fully goes away. Yan yung tinatawag natin na endemic. Nakuha ba? Nakuha, class? Okay na ba? Okay na? So,
Copy, sir.
naintindihan nyo na ngayon ang tatlo. Ganun lang kasimple ha. Ganun lang kasimple. So, again, ang COVID-19 pandemic, ay yung COVID-19, tatawagin na yan natin eventually soon na endemic. Okay, ibig sabihin, nakokontrol na. Di ba ngayon, kapag may COVID ka, parang normal na lang. So, unlike before yung sa peak niya, peak season, di ba? Mas kabahan ka na kapag may COVID ka. Ngayon, parang normal na yan. Kasi, meron naman kasing mga vaccine or makokontrol na siya. So, may mga tablet na no na iniinom nga, 'di ba dati? Meron na. So kaya tawag natin doon class is endemic. So soon ang COVID matatawag na natin 'yan na endemic. Okay. Nakuha ba? Okay, proceed tayo sa next. Then of course, we have the objectives of the crisis management. Una diyan, to resolve without further incident. Then the safety of all participants. Sino yung pinaka-focus natin in the crisis management class na i-save? Sorry. Again, sino yung pinaka-focus natin dito na in the crisis management na i-save? Again, sino yung focus natin dito na i-save dito sa tinatawag natin na crisis management? Pakilagay nga sa comment section. Again, sino yung i-save natin? No. Sino? Resident, society, hindi. Wala akong nakitang tamang sagot. Again, sino yung sinesave natin dito in the crisis management? Of course, in the crisis management, yung victim ang isi-save natin palagi, di ba? Okay, so yun yung focus natin is to salvari vitas, di ba? Salvari vitas to save lives. The lives, yung primary, of course, the victim. Okay, so biktima ang ano natin. Then apprehension of all perpetrators, ma-save natin ang buhay ng biktima or yung mga participants na hindi naman ano. Then of course to arrest yung mga perpetrators of the crime natin. Then accomplishment of the task within the framework of current community standards. Yan yung objectives ng crisis management. Then next tayo. Okay, so ayan, the purpose of crisis management class, palagi ko sinasabi, is salvari vidas. Pag sinabi natin salvari vidas class, that is to save lives. Okay? So again, pag tanong sa board exam, what is the purpose of crisis management is salvari vidas. To save lives. Okay? Nakuha ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next tayo. Okay, so we have the phases of crisis management class. So we have the proactive phase and of course the reactive phase. Ang proactive case class, ibig sabihin ng proactive, ibig sabihin ng class, parang wala pang nangyayari, nagpaplano na kayo or wala pang nangyayari na ina-anticipate nyo na kung ano yung mga hakbang na gagawin ninyo. Ang tawag natin dyan is proactive case. That includes the prediction, pinipredict nyo kung ano mangyayari in the future. Then, prevention and preparation. Kasi yun naman ang tinatawag natin na proactive phase. Ibig sabihin, habang wala pang nangyari, at meron na kayong preventive measures in place na kailangan ninyong i-activate lang in case magkakaroon ng crisis management or magkakaroon ng crisis class. So again, ang proactive phase, it includes prediction, prevention, and preparation of the possible preventive measures class na para instead na mangyari yon, pinapreventa natin in advance. Yun yung tinatawag natin na proactive phase. While on the reactive phase naman, pag sinabi natin kasi ng reactive class, ganito yon. Gagalaw lang tayo or magkakaroon lang tayo or we will find solution lang kapag kapag may nangyari na or halimbawa may nangyari ng krimen or may nangyari ng huldapan, doon lang tayo gagalaw. That is reactive phase. Ibig sabihin, it involves the performance, the initial action, the action, and post-action. Ibig sabihin, kapag may nangyari, that is performance, initial action, anong gagawin natin or anong reaction natin kapag there is, halimbawa may patayan or may tinatawag natin na yung na sa class, hold into, anong tawag natin doon? Yung hostage, okay? So that is the initial action, then action and post-action. That is the active phase. Okay, so yan yung tinatawag natin na phases of the crisis management. Okay, mamaya yung mga negotiation, negotiate, and so on, i-explain natin yan one by one. Okay, so we have the legal regimes in dealing with crisis. Pakibasa muna. Ibig sabihin dito yung legal source. Okay, Sir Robin, pakibasa yung dalawang legal regimes natin or legal source when it comes sa crisis.
Legal regimes in dealing with crisis. According to Section 6, Article 16 of 1987 Constitution, it states that shall establish and maintain one police force which shall be national in scope and civilian in character, to be administered and controlled by the NAPOLCOM. The authority of local executives over the police units in their jurisdiction shall be provided by law. And secondly, according to Section 444 and 445 of RA 7160, states that the mayor shall act as the deputized representative of the NAPOLCOM, which shall exercise operational control and supervision over the local police forces in the city and municipality.
Okay, so thank you. So again, we have the legal regimes in dealing with crisis. So una dyan, we have the Section 6, Article 16 of 1987 Constitution. Of course, that is already discussed sa LEA kung napanood niyo yung mga previous lectures ko. So sinabi dyan, the state shall establish and maintain one police force. So ibig sabihin, class, ang bansa natin, dapat iisa lang ang police force na meron tayo. So ibig sabihin, yung sa BARM na gusto nilang magkaroon ng separate police force, mangyayari ba yon? Of course, hindi. Mangyayari yon kapag palitan nila ang content class ng ating constitution. Pero sa ngayon, wala pa naman, di ba? So dapat isa lang the state shall establish and maintain one police force which shall be national in scope. Pag sinabi natin national in scope class, kapag police officer ka, ay ibig sabihin ang jurisdiction mo is from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Hindi ka pwedeng kapag pumunta ka sa Mindanao, tapos sabihin mo na hindi ka police, halimbawa may nangyaring huldapan or nagkaroon ng hostage taking situation. Then sabihin mo, ay hindi ako pwedeng hindi ako pwedeng sumali kasi police na ako sa Luzon. Okay? Hindi yan pwede. Kasi nga, your scope of your duty is national in scope. Again, national in scope. Then, civilian in character. Pag sinabi natin civilian in character, no part of the police is military. So, ibig sabihin, walang walang ma-employ sa PNP or sa police na part or former or current worker or current officials or yung tinatawag natin class na employee ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. Kasi nga dapat civilian in nature. Katulad nyo, katulad ko. So, ibig sabihin, mag-apply tayo doon as civilian. Kaya nga tinawag na civilian in character. Then, of course, to be administered and controlled by the NAPOLCOM or the National Police Commission. Then, yung mga local government executives natin, sino ba sila? ang local government executives, that is the mayor and the governor. So, ibig sabihin, sila ang may jurisdiction over the police units and their respective jurisdiction. Kung saang city man yan sila or kung saan man yan silang municipality. So, that is under Section 6, Article 16 of the 1987 Constitution. Nakuha ba? Then, of course, Section 444 and 445 of Republic Act 7160. Ang 7160 class, that is the local government code of the Philippines. Okay, so the mayor shall act as a deputized representative of the NAPOLCOM. Then parang same, ano lang yan sila class ng Section 6, Article 16. Then ang mayor or the governor, they shall exercise the operational control. But of course, doon sa kanilang units within their respective municipality or city. Yan yung jurisdiction nila. Again, ang ating legal regimes, you will maintain one police force which will be national in scope and civilian in character. National in scope, ibig sabihin, ang scope ng class, lalong-lalo na in dealing with crisis. So, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na police ka lang sa Luzon. Pagpunta mo sa Mindanao, hindi ka na police, hindi pwede yan. Kasi nga, under the Constitution, you are, or your jurisdiction is national in scope. Yun yung nasasakupan mo. Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Nakuha ba, class? Nakuha ninyo? Nakuha ba? Nandyan pa ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so ayan. Okay, good. So we have what we call the hostage incident. So kailan natin matatawag that it is there is an hostage incident? Ang hostage incident, when people are being held by another person or persons against their will, usually by force or coercion, and demands are being made by the hostage taker. So of course, ang hostage taker class, meron tayong tinatawag na the hostages, di ba? And hostage taker. Ang purpose ng hostage taker is to demand something. Ibig sabihin, meron silang hinihingi or meron silang hinanakit na gusto nilang makuha. So, yan yung pinaka-purpose last ng hostage taker. Okay? So, yan yung purpose ng hostage taker. So, next. Okay, so we have the golden rule in hostage-taking situation. Sige nga, pakilagay ninyo class sa comment section. I will read what is the golden rule in hostage-taking situation. Okay, again, what is the golden rule in hostage-taking situation? Again, what is the golden rule in hostage-taking situation? Bakit walang sumasagot? Isa lang? Yes, sir. Sige. Okay, kahit ano lang. Ilagay nyo dyan, tingnan natin. Negotiate. What is the golden rule? Sige, yung iba. Okay, what is the golden rule, clan, in hostage-taking situation? Okay, again, what is the golden rule in hostage-taking situation? To ensure that the safety and retrieve the victims. Sure kayo? Sige, yung iba, kamusta? What is the golden rule in hostage-taking situation? Do not open demand. Pwede. Yes lang po, sir. Sige, tingnan natin. Yung iba, what is your answer? Okay, so sagutan ko na lang Pag sinabi natin golden rule in hostage-taking situation, tandaan nyo palagi, do not open the demand or never adduce the demand. Again, the golden rule class in hostage-taking situation is do not open the demand, or never adduce a demand. That is the golden rule in hostage-taking situation. Ibig sabihin, dapat hindi ka mag-initiate kung ano yung bibigay mo, or hindi mo rin dapat magbibigyan lahat ng demand niya. Or actually, totally hindi mo dapat pagbigyan. So yan yung tinatawag natin, class, na golden rule of hostage-taking situation. Bakit ganito, class? Okay, bakit natin tatawagin, or bakit hindi tayo, or do not open the demand, or never reduce the demand? Bakit, class? Kasi nga, kapag pinagbigyan mo yan, or halimbawa, binigay mo lahat ng gusto, or lahat ng binanggit niya, so mafe-feel niya yung sense of importance. So kaya dapat kapag nagkakaroon ka ng tinatawag natin na crisis situation, or when you are handling a certain situation. So dapat do not open the demand, or never adduce a demand. Nakuha ba? Nasundan ninyo?
Yes,
Nasundan,
sir.
class? Okay, so
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Okay, next tayo. Okay, so ano naman ngayon ang tinatawag natin na cardinal rule in negotiation? Okay? And ano yung tinatawag natin, class, na cardinal rule in the negotiation? Okay, what is the cardinal rule natin na sinusunod, class, in negotiation? Kasi 'di ba, in the golden rule, do not open the demand, or never reduce the demand. So ano naman ang tawag natin ngayon sa tinatawag natin na cardinal rule in negotiation? Ano naman 'yon? Okay, so what is the cardinal rule? Commander should not... So, tingnan natin. Okay, so tanan nyo, class, in the cardinal rule in negotiation, a commander should not be designated negotiator, and negotiator should not command, is the cardinal rule in negotiation. Again, pag sinabi natin cardinal rule in negotiation, a commander should not be designated as negotiator, and a negotiator should not command. Ako ba? Again, si commander, hindi dapat siya makipag-negotiate. Dapat hindi natin siya, class, iharap ngayon sa mga hostage taker. Nakuha ba ninyo? Kasi again, another example na sense of importance yan. Siyempre, feel na feel yan ng hostage taker, kasi ang kausap niya or ang katransaksyon niya is yung manager ninyo, or yung commander ninyo. So meaning, madali siyang makapag-demand. Okay? So dapat hindi, class. A commander should not be designated as negotiator. And then yung negotiator natin, dapat hindi yan magko-command. Okay? And the negotiator should not command. Nakuha ba? Nakuha ba ninyo, class? Kasi dapat kung
Yes, sir.
kung ano lang yung kanilang function, doon na sila mag-focus para hindi rin sila malito. Then of course, para hindi rin mabigyan ng importance, kasi mafe-feel ng hostages yung importance. Okay, kapag ganun na yung commander, siya yung magne-negotiate, 'di ba? Siya yung mismo makikiusap. Dapat hindi. Si commander, hindi yan dapat, he will stay in his lane. Kung ano lang yung pinaka-purpose niya. Okay? So that is the cardinal rule in negotiation. Then, of course, next tayo. Ang reasons dyan, of course, number one, the hostage taker will have the sense of importance. Na-explain ko na, no? Then, number two, he may take impossible demand, knowing that he is dealing with the commander. Yun yung sinabi ko kanina, di ba? Yung hostage taker will have the sense of importance na feeling niya, very important siya kasi commander na yung nakikiusap sa kanya. Then he may take impossible demand. Okay, baka marami siyang i-demand sa commander, kasi nga si commander na yun, di ba? So ibig sabihin importante siya. Sorry. Then of course, kapag magbaliktad kasi, class, ang function nila, there will be a conflict, being a negotiator and commander at the same time, and will have no more fallback. So meaning, class, nagsasapawan or hindi na nila alam kung ano talaga yung originally yung function na meron sila. So again, a commander should not be designated as negotiator, and a negotiator should not command. Okay, nakuha ba? So ayan. Okay. So ayan, ano yung ano natin, what is being negotiable? Ano lang yung pwede nating ibigay, class, sa ating mga hostage taker? Okay? Ano lang yung pwede nating ibigay or i-grant na mga wish na meron sila? Money, food, drinks, and transportation. Okay, very good. Okay, ganito lang. Okay, so ang pwede lang natin ibigay dyan is, una, is the money, food, drinks, and transpo. Okay? Yan na nga, money, food, and transportation. Okay, ano naman yung tinatawag natin, class, na non-negotiables? Hindi natin pwedeng ibigay. Okay, so very good. Okay, ang hindi natin ibigay or what are non-negotiables, that is the weapons, ammunition, and swapping of prisoners. Yun yung mga hindi natin pwede agad-agad ibibigay. Okay, so that is the non-negotiables, non-negotiable one. Okay, so nakuha ba? Nakuha na? Then of course, ang swapping or exchange of prisoners, hindi rin natin yan pwede ibigay agad. Okay? Or hindi rin dapat natin lahat ibigay ito. Okay, nakuha ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next. Okay, so ang walkie-talkies, sinong hindi nakakita ng walkie-talkies pa dito? Ang walkie-talkies, it is considered to be one of the best telephone negotiation na ginagamit natin. Ang walkie-talkies, no? Okay, if attack has been decided upon, dapat it should be carried out within 7-second decision. Dapat within 7 seconds, dapat meron ka ng decision class. Okay? Ang ginagamit natin pa rin, wait lang, nagtawag si attorney. Hello, attorney. Wait lang class, seconds. Okay, so yan. So si attorney Anselmo. Kilala niyo ba si attorney Anselmo? Kilala niyo? O hindi niyo kilala? Naka ano na kayo sa kanya? Naka-follow na? Kilala niyo si attorney Anselmo?
Wala ako dito.
Yes. Ayan.
Yes, sir.
So i-follow niyo siya sa TikTok and Facebook. Ay, sa Facebook rin, lahat ng ano niya. Kasi marami kayong makukuha doon, lalo na sa criminal law, sir. Okay, kasi tumawag siya ngayon, nag-contact kung pwede ba siya tumawag. Okay, so ayan, if the attack has been decided upon, it should be carried within 7 seconds decision. Dapat within 7 seconds, class, meron tayong tinatawag kasi na police discretion. Ibig sabihin, that is the ability to use your wise judgment. Ibig sabihin, makapag-decision ka agad-agad. Naka ba? So within 7-second decision, dapat it should be carried with 7 seconds decision. Barilin mo o hindi. Okay? So yan yung tinatawag natin na 7 seconds decision. Bakit within 7 seconds na, sir? Anong mangyayari kung 8 seconds na? Anong mangyayari kapag 7 seconds na? Ay, 7 seconds, 8 seconds na or sumobra doon. Bakit walang sumagot? Again, ano mangyayari, class, kapag sumobra na 7 seconds? Ano yung magiging kahinatnan nito? Ano yung magiging epekto kapag sumobra? Uunahan ka niya, sir. Okay, very good. Of course, the class, dapat within 7 seconds, makapag-desisyon ka na kung babarilin mo ba siya o hindi. Kasi kapag sumobra yan 7 seconds, baka ikaw pa yung maunahan o ikaw yung unang papatay, di ba? So, dapat within 7 seconds decision, class, uunahan mo na. So makapag-desisyon ka na, di ba? Hindi yung hihintayin mo pa na maunahan ka na mabawian ng buhay, no? So yan yung tinatawag natin na dapat as a may buhay na mawawala. Of course, maraming mamamatay. Dapat ikaw mismo, hindi na kailangan class ng consultation from your commander or your superior. So dapat within 7 seconds decision, dapat makapagsabi ka na or makapag-decide ka na kung babarilin mo ba siya o hindi. Okay? So yan yung tinatawag natin na the attack has been decided upon. It should be carried within 7 seconds decision. Nakuha? So again, ang walkie-talkies pa rin, it is considered as the best telephone or it is considered as one of the best telephone negotiation. Okay? Nakuha ba? Okay, so yan. Okay, so meron tayong tinatawag na Stockholm Syndrome, the Lima Syndrome, and London Syndrome. So explain muna natin to class before tayo mag-break. Pag sinabi natin Stockholm Syndrome class, it is the development of unique relationship between the hostages and the hostage taker. So ang Stockholm Syndrome class, ang hostages, yung mga hostages natin, have developed positive feelings towards their captors. Again, ang Stockholm Syndrome, ibig sabihin ng mga hostages natin guys, nakadevelop sila ng positive feelings towards their captor. Naawa sila or naintindihan nila yung pinanggagalingan o yung pinaghuhugutan class ng ating mga hostage taker. Ayan ang tawag natin class sa Stockholm Syndrome. Kasi ang Stockholm Syndrome, okay, di ba, na yung tinatawag natin na instead of manlaban sila or instead na kampihan nila or instead na file nila ng kaso, so wala na. Kasi nga, under the Stockholm Syndrome, the hostages develop positive feelings towards their captors. Okay? So yung mga captives nila or yung mga hostages, nakadevelop sila ng kanilang positive feelings towards their captors, naiintindihan nila kung ano yung gusto or ano yung pinanggagalingan ng mga hostage taker or yung ng hostage sa kanila, that is Stockholm Syndrome. Okay? Ang Lima Syndrome naman, in Lima Syndrome, yung ano yan naman, yung captor or yung hostage taker naman guys, ang nakadevelop ngayon ng positive connection towards their victims. Again, ang Lima Syndrome, ang captor or yung hostage taker naman or yung abuser, siya naman ngayon guys ang nakadevelop ng positive feelings or connection towards their victims. So, meaning guys, kapag sa Lima Syndrome, ang nangyayari dyan, pinapakawalan niya ang kanyang magiging hostage. Okay? Ang mga hostages niya. Or naaawa siya sa mga hostages niya or sa kalagayan ng mga hostages niya. Ang tawag natin na syndrome doon is the Lima Syndrome. Again, in the Lima Syndrome, yung captor or yung abuser ngayon, naka-form siya ng positive connection towards their victim or their hostages. So nakalagay dyan, Lima Syndrome is a psychological response in which a captor or abuser develops a positive bond with a victim. When this happens, they may become empathetic to the individual circumstances or condition. Ibig sabihin, naiintindihan nila or meron silang tinatawag na instead na patayin nila or instead na pahirapan nila, so hindi na lang. Medyo lenient sila or minsan, iniiwan or yung tinatawag na rin na pinapakawalan na. That is the Lima Syndrome. Okay? So yan yung Lima Syndrome na tinatawag natin. Okay, nakuha ba class? Nakuha ang Lima Syndrome? Nasundan ba? Nandyan pa ba kayo? Okay. Then of course, the London Syndrome. Ang London Syndrome, it refers to the hostages argumentative or disobedient behavior which will lead to their own demise. So dito class, ang London Syndrome kasi class, it was named after an incident in London in 1981 where the Iranian embassy was seized by armed intruders. Then one of the hostages, yung si Abbas Labasani, was quiet and cooperative and constantly argued with the gunman. Ibig sabihin, sabat na sabat or yung tinatawag natin na maraming or sabat na sabat siya sa sa kaniyang gunmen or mga hostage taker or captors. So yan yung tinatawag natin na London Syndrome. So again, ang London Syndrome nangyari yan sa Japanese embassy. Okay, kung saan yung hostage taker, nakadevelop siya ngayon, instead na positive, nakadevelop siya ng negative feelings or connection towards their hostages. Okay, again, pag sinabi natin London Syndrome class, ang hostage taker ngayon, nakadevelop siya ngayon ng negative feelings towards their their captives or their hostages. Kaya class, ang nangyayari dyan, pinapatay nila ang kanilang mga hostages. Yan yung nangyari class kay Labasani. Okay? Si Labasani belligerent behavior made the other captives more fearful as it increased the tension in the room. After 6 days of negotiation, the perpetrators became frustrated and seemed to have taken out on Labasani. So they killed his body out of the embassy. So yun yung sinasabi ko, di ba? So again, ang London Syndrome, yung hostage taker, nakadevelop siya ngayon ng negative feelings towards their hostages. Then, pinapatay nila yan. Okay? So, yan. The hostage taker develops a negative feeling or connection towards their hostages. Then, ang nangyayari, pinapatay nila ang kanilang mga hostages kasi nga naiirita na sila, nasistress na sila, and so on. Kasi may pinanggalingan yan sa tinatawag natin na nangyari sa Japanese Embassy. London Syndrome ang tawag natin dyan. Ulitin natin, pag sinabi natin Stockholm Syndrome, ang hostages nakadevelop ngayon ng positive feelings or positive connections towards their captors or towards their hostage taker. While ang tinatawag natin na Lima Syndrome naman, ang hostage taker naman ngayon class, ang nakadevelop ng positive feelings towards their captives or yung tinatawag natin class na mga hostages. So, kaya minsan, it will lead na pinapakawalan nila or hindi na nila sinasaktan. Yan yung tinatawag natin na Lima Syndrome. Ang London Syndrome naman, kung saan ang hostage taker, instead na positive, nakadevelop siya ngayon ng negative feelings towards their hostages. So that's why it will lead na pinapatay nila yan. Kasi again, in the London Syndrome, the hostage taker, nakadevelop siya ngayon ng negative feelings or connections towards their hostages. Okay? Then very good Kilon. Kasi ang London Syndrome, that is the opposite of Stockholm Syndrome. Okay? So dapat alam na alam niyo yan ha. So yung opposite ng London is the Stockholm Syndrome. Okay? So yan ang ano niyo. Madali lang naman yan. So then kasi may mga bases naman yan. Okay, so mamaya pagbalik natin, dito na tayo sa implementation of the methods to deal with hostage situation, that is the undercast sa Rule 22 of the PNP Operational Manual or Procedures. Okay? So ayan, so magbe-break tayo then 3:20 dapat nasa Zoom na kayo ulit. Okay, mag-break muna, mag-uminom ng malamig or mainom ng tubig kasi masyadong mainit ang panahon. Okay, so thank you everyone. So last part na to ng natin ng ating crisis management. Then after natin matapos, mamayang gabi magpo-proceed tayo sa may natin sa professional standard and ethical professional standard, yung ethics natin. Okay? So ayan, thank you and mag-break muna.